how interest is used in by county executive, Honorable Speaker. So this statement, Honorable Speaker, must unearth how and why transactions, especially for allowances for members of staff, because they are junior members of staff, so they do not have the avenue of paying themselves, Honorable Speaker, the money is voided, or the transaction is voided, and it is used for other unintended purposes, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Senator Miraj.
Asante Bwana Spika, na mimi niweze kutoa changizo zangu kwenye statement ya Senator wa Bungoma kwa kuzungumzia masuala ya malimbikizi ya madeni kwa wanakandarasi na wanaopeana huduma tofauti katika gatuzi zetu. Bwana Spika, kwa kweli ni swala la kutamausha ya kwamba unapotembea katika maeneo ya gatuzi lako unakumbana na wananchi ambao wamepeana huduma kwa wakati mwafaka, lakini wanaanza kutafuta ni nani watamuongelesha ili waweze kulainisha wale wahusika waweze kulipa madeni hayo. Ningependa kulaani na kukashifu vikali, kwa sababu watu walipokuwa wanahudumia gatuzi zetu kwa kupeana huduma tofauti walifanya kwa mapenzi makubwa, wakijua wanafanya uzalendo kwa jamii yetu. Lakini imegeuka na kuwa kirba goji kirba, kuona kwamba wakati wa malipo inakuwa ni kilio. Bwana Spika, nikinukuu statement ya mwenzangu ni kwamba tungependa pia kujua huyu anayesema anadai, je, ni wapi alifanya mradi gani, alijenga dispensary gani katika gatuzi yetu, alipeana huduma ya aina gani? Na tungependa pia kujua magavana wanatumia njia gani ama mbinu gani ya kuona kwamba wamemlipa yule waliyemlipa, na kwa nini wale ambao hawajalipwa hawajapata malipo yao. Nikiweza kutumia mfano mmoja wa mama mmoja kutoka kule Bungoma County ambaye alikuwa anafanya supplies Kamkuya Market, aliweza kulia ili alipo deni lake, hatimaye akafariki na kuaga dunia. Na jambo la kusikitisha, hadi leo familia yake haijaweza kupata malipo hayo. Ningependa tu kujua kwa nini tunaweka Wakenya katika hali ngumu ya kwamba wanakwenda kuchukua madeni, wanafanya biashara na serikali, na kutokamana na pesa ambazo tunazipeana katika gatuzi kama serikali, bado watu wale wanahangaishwa bila kulipwa malipo yao. Ningependa kama seneta mchanga na wa kike, kwa sababu hata wale watoto wa vijana wa kiume na wa kike ambao wanajaribu na wangependa sana kufanya biashara na serikali, wanaingiwa na uoga wa kuchukua loan kutoka katika taasisi tofauti ili kujihusisha na serikali. Ningependa sisi kama viongozi tuweze kurekebisha tabia hiyo ili tuweze kulisukuma gurudumu la serikali yetu mbele. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Senator Chiranke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, mine is just to comment on the issue of Toy Market fire incident. My heart goes out to at least, I think, 4 families who have lost their loved ones, and also many Kenyans who are hustling, trying to make a living. Mr. Speaker, you know, most of our clothes, some of us who are not opulent and flamboyant, we get most of our clothes from Toy Market, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, it is gainsaid, and it is some of them. I think the majority leader has been accused of being opulent before, buying a very expensive shoe, so he might not be aware what is being sold in Toy Market, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and therefore the essence, we must be, the essence, Mr. Speaker, goes without saying. In the last financial year, 100 million Kenya shillings was allocated. I have gone an extra mile, Mr. Speaker, to check on finance budget of Nairobi County. Mr. Speaker, could it be somebody was burning down Toy Market to ensure the auditor of the Office General, Mr. Speaker, could not audit the 100 million where it went in the issue of Toy Market, Mr. Speaker? Yeah. I think it is very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. And you could see the governor was running from rain of stones because people do not believe on the action that is being done to address the issues, Mr. Speaker. The fire that has consumed Toy Market has been more fire than we will see in hell that will be used in sulfur, as the book of Revelation has told us, Mr. Speaker. We cannot and we shall not allow. I want to request, Mr. Speaker, that this matter, the national security, and I'm a bit surprised, Mr. Speaker, because the vice chairperson was telling us the national security should take note, and the vice chairperson is Senator Nyamu, who was reading the same statement. But I want to encourage, Mr. Speaker, that the committee should visit toy market and assess, Mr. Speaker. And I saw Senator, our big brother, the next AU chairman, Raila Odinga, donated 1.5 million. I want to encourage Senator Sifuna, we do something, we contribute to compliment on Baba Raila what he did, Mr. Speaker. But I want also to discourage him in saying Mbadi has gotten CS. Let us allow the National Assembly to finish adopting the report. Because before saying that you will work to National Treasury, Mr. Speaker. But I will want to teach Sifuna how to get to National Treasury, because I know the closest he has come, Mr. Speaker, is when he's demonstrating, especially during last year's Mandamano, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we want to investigate this issue of toy and other market fires that we are seeing in Nairobi. It is rampant, Mr. Speaker. Could it be because of land grabiosis? I bet it could be. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I support.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to add my voice to those who are talking about Benny Bill in support of Senator for Bungoma. Honorable Speaker, the issue of Benny Bill actually has become a cancer within the counties. That many people are suffering, that many people were not able to pay their bills, because when you want to go and do contracts with counties, you sign agreement and you sign conditions, and after finishing the job, you are supposed to be paid. I don't see why there is no cause for, Honorable Speaker, why there should be a Benny Bill, because this money has already been budgeted for. So it's the counties, guys, should be able to live within their means. In my county, Honorable Speaker, it's a very unfortunate situation. In the past regime, the current government have inherited 5.5 billion shillings. And some of this money cannot be accounted for, because even the documentation is not there. And the contractors are having their contracts, documents. But the problem is, it is not there in record for the counties. And some of this money cannot even be paid. Honorable Speaker, many of these people have actually facing a lot of problems. They've been sued. Their property have been now auctioned by the banks. And therefore, it's actually a very, very, very unfortunate situation. Honorable Speaker, the problem is actually, I will request the Finance Committee to please take this matter very seriously, because when we are making budgets and when we are releasing funds to these counties, then I think the counties should be compelled to release the list of those contractors and those businessmen who give the services, to at least to tell the Senate how much money they owe the contractors and the service providers. As it is, actually, this Senate must be able to come in. The House must help the people of Kenyans, the Kenyans, who are there, who have not paid their money, and up to now they have not been paid. 10 years down the line, from 2013, like my place, since 2013, you still have Benny bills. And every time the money is being released to the counties. So I'm really surprised why we should not be able to help the counties. Well, even the district delegations, like the pensioners and the gratuities, those who work with the counties, cannot even access the money they contributed. The money is being used diverted for other purposes. So I think this is a criminal case. And I will request the Finance Committee, please help us out of these problems. Because every time we go to counties, the first thing I get problems with my county is that people come to me and say, Mr. Senator, we are being ordered a lot of money, we are not being paid. So I think this nuisance will stop, and people's money must be paid. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sik.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also had my voice to several statements, statement from Senator Sengo and Senator Wakoli on the issue of pending bills and vocational training institutions on the capitation. Honorable Speaker, as we know very well that technical institutions and vocational VTCs, vocational training institutions in counties, are very integral and important institutions that brings skilled labor to our counties and to our young men and women within the counties. We want to say that these are very important institutions that needs really to be focused in on. And I want to say that the capitation with national government through the Ministry of Education is a very important program that needs to be observed. And the national government needed to look at it and see that the students within these institutions needs to be paid that money. And so that we don't have problems of skills, particularly to those students also who have low grades to this institution, because they are expecting to have, for us to have, and even see skilled laborers in our, in our factories, in our counties. Honorable Speaker, the issue of pending bill has been a big problem to our counties. And I don't know why we have been saying all this all along, and we don't have a focus and a programmed way on how we handle pending bills in our counties. Honorable Speaker, I think it is a matter of this House to come up with a procedure on how we will handle these problems once and for all. I want to appreciate that Honorable Ledama has come up with a bill, and we want to fast-track this bill so that at least we get a way forward on these pending bills, because it has really caused a lot of problems, harm to our people, harm to even business people, the contractors that have been entrusted to do business to counties, and even national government have gone to losses. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to come to the support of these two bills, and thank you very much for the time that you have given me. Thank you.
Senator Mutinda, Tabitha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I first want to support Senator Siengo's statement in regards to the issue of the TVETs, and I want to support my colleagues as far as the emphasis of the importance of the skills and knowledge that is normally acquired by our very young people, and also noting that TVETs are much more affordable in this country. Without them, this capitation, it gives challenges. We've seen how young people have been up and down in the streets, and ensuring that these institutions are well financed gives them the opportunity that they deserve. Number two, Mr. Speaker, is on the statement as far as the pending bills issue is concerned. An issue that as Finance and Budget Committee really tried to look at it. And during the last DORA on approval of the 400 billion, Mr. Speaker, we had the delegation of the governors led by the COG, Madam Anne Waiguru, and I personally emphasized on the thorn and the animal called the pending bills, which has affected highly our different contractors in the different counties. Mr. Speaker, I think it is a high time, even as a Committee of Finance, now rethink on amendments in the PFM in regards to before any new contracts are awarded to any new suppliers and contractors, the previous ones, their bills be
the senators have said, this issue of pending bills runs across all the counties, all the 47 counties. Mr. Speaker, I've heard majority leaders say that for the last 6 years, but like in Machakos, I'm counting more than 10 years of pending bills being carried forward. Actually, I would recommend that the Finance Committee come up with an amendment law that the controller of budget will not release money to the counties when they have pending bills until they clear all the pending bills, because before they give any work, they have money allocated for that work. And where that money goes and then it becomes a pending bill is a mystery to this House. Mr. Speaker, also the capitation fund, not only for TVET, but for even secondary schools and universities, it's delayed so much. And TVET colleges, institutions, train our youths, and they come out of there when they are people who are useful to do something with their lives in this country, and good citizens with a lot of skills to work. And so their capitation should be released like yesterday, even for universities and secondary schools. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this afternoon I'm at a loss of words as I write to support the statement by Senator Wakoli. Mr. Speaker, I've been in this Senate for now about 7 years plus. And when I came into this Senate, I was told by those who came before me that the Senate pronounces itself through motions and bills. And I was told that if anybody failed to comply with the resolution of the Senate, that person faces various consequences, which include, 1, censure, number 2, even to the extent of being removed from office. Mr. Speaker, we have censured cabinet secretaries in this House for failing to comply on the Senate resolution. I'm at a loss of word as to why we should continue lamenting on this issue of pending bills. This Senate passed a resolution by delegation. Article 123 of the Constitution is quite clear. It says that the Senate shall vote by delegations. 24 delegations. In fact, we had 38 votes, if I can remember. So, Mr. Speaker, this issue of pending bills, it's very simple. We follow the law. If we in this Senate cannot be able to make sure that we stop the funds from going to counties, not talking about amending the laws. Why do we need to amend the laws when the regulations are very clear that pending bills form first charge of account? So it's very simple. Some of us will have to take other extra measures to ensure that they comply, because we are told here that they will only comply if we stop them in court, because the Constitution, if you read Article, I think, 255, it is only the Cabinet Secretary who can be able to stop money from going to counties, but only for a small period of about 90 days. So the only thing we have is now to resort to court, if this Senate is failing, to force the implementation of a resolution of this House, which was quite clear. It said all counties must pay a minimum of 1 billion shillings by the end of the last financial year. So the thing we should do here with the Finance Committee, now that we do not have an implementation committee, is to self-implement. We follow through. We ensure that we check, are they paying, they are not paying. If they are not paying, then we move forward. You know, as far as I'm concerned, you might end up seeing me in court in the next few weeks to compel these counties to be able to respect this Senate. I cannot sit in this Senate if these counties cannot respect. What are we doing here? Majority Leader, can we please move? This is your house. Your motions have got to be respected. We have a bunch of lawyers here, including Chimera, out there. Instead of him taking us to court to try and stop us from getting
Senator Omtata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I would like to contribute to the motion on pending bills. These pending bills have basically morphed into a form of borrowing by county governments. Because they are given budgets, then for some reason they end up with pending bills, which then again has to come back to the public to finance. And my Lord, Mr. Speaker, sir, borrowing by counties is regulated by the Constitution, Article 212. And a county government may only borrow if the national government guarantees the loan and with the approval of the county government's assembly. You find that these pending bills are creations of the executive who refuse to operate within their budgets, who are manipulating the IFMI system by voiding what has been approved and diverting money. And I think that the governors who have been in office during when these pending bills were created should not go scot-free. Their feet must be held to the fire, and they must tell us why they are creating a public debt contrary to the Constitution. Because the people of Kenya are being forced to pay for what they should have sorted out using supplementary budgets and similar stuff. So as we go forward in terms of settling pending bills and to dissuade this culture from continuing, I urge that the consideration of the statement goes as far as making recommendations on how to handle rogue governors who end up using their procurement powers within budgets approved by the control of budget to create pending bills. If they don't pay bills, they must face the music. It must not come back to the public to go and pay pending bills. We cannot be crying here about pending bills when the Constitution is very clear on how we should incur public debt. Backdoor public debt should not be paid. It's not a sovereign debt. It's a regime debt. And if the public pays it, the regime owners must be held to account. So I think that this thing of playing around with kid gloves about pending bills will not solve it unless we punish individual governors. Madam Speaker, thank you. When I began to was Mr. Speaker, and I can say to Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Senator Karen Nyamo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to speak to the issue of pending bills, Madam Speaker. As my colleagues have said before me, and since I got to this House, this is about the 6th or 7th or 8th time we are having this issue tabled before this House, the issue of the pending bills. While when I see companies like KQ apply for bailouts, we see the government paying off 55 billion, 7 billion, 37 billion, almost immediately. While our SMEs, who actually are the backbone of our economy, and we're saying we want to grow the economy,